The curse of the ELO. What does that mean? That means when you're playing a game and you're close to getting to the next milestone for ELO, right? If you're a 1000, you're about to become a 1100. You're a 1400, about to become a 1500. Or in my case, about to become a 1600. You're one game away. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to lose. Not all the time, but a lot of times this happens. And this is what I call the curse of the ELO. So today I have 7 games to exemplify that from my challenge of trying to reach a 2000 rating on chess.com. So this is day 37 of my challenge of trying to reach 2000. And these examples, like these games, exemplify that really well. Aside from these games, I also did 150 puzzles on chessable.com. And I read part of a positional book that I've been reading. And it showed like pass pawns were important in endgames especially, obviously. And then when you're up positionally, to take steps to gain advantages and to wait. And it was a bit of a hard book, so I'm probably going to read The Amateur's Mind. This book was by Herman Gruten on positional chess for club players or something. So yeah, I might go back to this book later. But anyway, let's get to the games. The first game here, my opponent, it shows the ratings after the game finished. So my rating was around 1550 something or 1560. My opponent's was 1590 something, right? Really close to 1600. And the game kind of starts off normal, nothing too crazy, and then I make this mistake. I should have seen the poisoned pawn idea and ignored it. With the idea being that if he takes, I have eyes on this. If he steps back, then I take the pawn. And the idea here is that even though it looks like he's putting more pressure here, I have enough protection. I was scared of that. I calculated stuff. I pushed the pawn instead. And my opponent has the miss. My opponent has the miss to increasingly put pressure to win my knight. Because it's pinned to my king. So I castle. I get out of the way. We exchange. And I just start gobbling up all his pawns. He just gives me all the pawns. Then he goes for a queen trade. A queen trade when you just lost a bunch of pawns, right? A few moves later, he trades rooks, and he just falls for, like, a checkmate. So, like, curse of the ELO right there, right? This game, my opponent was rated... I was rated 1566. My opponent was, like, 1540 something. So I'm closer to that next ELO jump, right? But even then, it should be pretty close. We're pretty close related ELO. And the game continues, and I start pushing this pawn all the way to the end, thinking I'm doing something. Actually, wasn't that bad of an idea. My big mistake comes here. By the way, I start playing 15-minute games also, which I recommend for everyone. It gives you so much more time to think. Even if you think dumb, you understand after the game. Like, I remember how long I thought about this next move, you know? And it forces yourself to be like, mad to kind of get better. But I was scared of a threat that really didn't really exist in this game. I was trying to be tricky. So I pushed this pawn forward when really I should have just stepped back. And I'm completely winning because I'm going to be a pawn up. Right? He's forced to move his bishop somewhere, and then I win the pawn. But I was scared because I pushed the pawn all the way forward, and I have this hole. So I just push, and the game becomes really, really bad. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, and I'm spending time thinking too. So I end up losing this game. Oh, this was a 10-minute game. I'm sorry. But I still spent a lot of time on that move. Starting here, I started doing 15-minute games, and my opponent was close to 1500. I guess it was 1470 something. And I was 1550 whatever from losing that previous game. So he's closer, right? He's closer to the ELO jump. And you're going to see more examples later. Obviously, this is a almost 1500 rated player. Most of the time, I would beat those types of players. And here I have this really nice trick where I win the knight. And after that, the game is basically GG's and he resigns. And I played like a 2000 that game, which is really cool. So 15 minutes. Oh, I just really love it. My opponent is a 1600 player rated, right? Rated player. What did I just say? 1600. He was like 17 or something, or 18 before this game. Again, the ELO scare. The curse of the ELO. Sometimes you get too intimidated when you're too higher of an ELO. And then if you're too low of an ELO compared to another person, then you get intimidated also. It's a different type of intimidation. One is intimidation of, oh, if they beat me, how could I lose to such a lower rated player? But then, oh, I can't beat them because they're such a higher rated player, right? So it's these stupid ideas that come in all of our minds. And this whole time I should have put the knight there, but I didn't. And this game was really cool because it was a Caro-Kann, and I thought I managed it really well. I was a pawn up, and I like this move, this pawn move. I thought it was good. I didn't recognize, I didn't recognize here that instead of going to the left side of the board, I could have done this crazy idea. The idea here, getting my knight into the position, and if he tries to block it off, I had a way around it. I don't remember exactly what it was. Queen c2, yeah, just reorienting everything back to the other side of the board. Now let's say he does something random. I get into the position. I even have this crazy move, right? It's just really, really nice. So I didn't take advantage of that fact. I bring my knight to the other side, trying to fight where it doesn't need to fight for some reason. My knight's kind of just standing there. And then I trade off and I get into the position. You like that pawn push? It was so nice. And then he resigns. I beat a 1600 rated player, right? Shouldn't be happening too much. Curse of the ELO. These last 3 games, this game was just horrible. And you could see, at this game, I was like 1570 rated. Oh, it tells me. Okay, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I was 1570 or 15 whatever. Close to 1600. My opponent was 1550s, right? Smack in the middle. In the middle is probably where most of us are most comfortable. And I'm putting all this pressure, and I don't know. First of all, what's kind of interesting here is I play it this way, which I never play. This is the English opening. I don't really know how to play it. And I play all the best moves. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. When I was reviewing this, I was like, wow, I actually played all the best moves. But I didn't know how to continue from here. And I thought I could take advantage of this weird pawn structure, but I had no idea how. Here I spent some time on the next few moves here. It was very confusing to me, but apparently, first of all, this was my best move. The bishop blocks the pawn from pushing. I thought my idea was to attack here, but no, this was the idea. And I don't remember exactly how it works. Oh, yeah. Just attacking this over here was the idea. And I end up being up a pawn in some of these lines. Or like neutralizing the pawn advantage that my opponent has. Anyway, I don't do any of that stuff. First of all, look at that move, huh? Look at that move. That is a cool move, because I could take here with my bishop covering. So if takes, I can take, and if he takes, I take. Like, jeez. I don't see any of that. The game continues. I blunder. My opponent misses it. Just some crazy, crazy game. And the problem here, he's up a pawn. I recognize that I'm going to lose a pawn, but I thought it was necessary. I just make dumb decisions, man. I don't know why I'm moving the way I am, and I'm not putting my pieces to stop the pawn promotion, and I was scared of the queen and rook piling up on my f7 pawn and giving me checkmate, and I end up resigning here. Okay, the next player, again, 16-something rated player, right? 16-14 or whatever, and I was lower because I just lost the previous game, and I end up winning. Of course I end up winning, and actually here, I get this is so cool. I get this pawn advantage, and I recognize that if he doesn't take back at a certain point, I could actually protect this pawn. So I come in with this move, which, of course, the engine says is not that great. But the idea is at the perfect time to bring this pawn into action, right? If he doesn't take. And I notice here that this is perfect time is coming. And it does. It comes perfectly. He doesn't take the pawn when he needs to. So now I'm just up a clean pawn. And I felt so cool with this. And I just start bringing all my pieces into the game. And my opponent takes some time to think at a certain point here. A lot of time. This is a 15-minute game, right? Opponent still got 15 minutes. He spends 5 minutes on this move, which wasn't even the best move. And I'm just slowly trying to improve my position, trying to get rid of all this annoying stuff here. And I recognized that this could happen, but I thought the attack here, opening up the attack on his king is good, even though he would be forced to trade, essentially. I thought, oh, I'm winning because I'm still a pawn up, even with my messed up pawn structure. Regardless, he doesn't take, and I recognize, oh, I could just put my bishop to safety. That bishop is so good. And I go for the trade. I go for the trade because I'm up a pawn. Here, I thought this was kind of clever. Apparently, not necessary, but... And I bring this pawn to stop the knight coming in. Okay. Look how crazy having a pawn changes the game, okay? I double my rooks, go for this trade, and boom! His knight has no way of getting into the game. My pawns are blocking everything. Everything. It's so cool. My bishop is protecting the pawn. It's stopping movement. Oh, it was just so beautiful. And there's nothing my opponent could do here. I just made all of the best moves one after the other, and here my opponent resigned. Resigned because after the check, this is checkmate, I believe, right? Yeah, this is checkmate. And yeah, I mean, that's why he resigned. But there's no way to stop it. If you take here, I take here, and boom, right? So, oh, so proud. So proud. Again, this is the curse of the ELO. And here I was rated, what, 1580 or something? Getting close to 1600. Not so close, not edging it. Sounds kind of weird, but not like 1595 or something. But I was pretty close. My opponent was like 1550. And I was scared for no reason, and I made a big blunder. That's what happened in this game. So, first of all, opening up the position, allowing his rook to come in, a little weird, right? But at this point, I'm up a pawn. Getting that pawn there was really good. And again, this is 15-minute games. I decide to trade stuff off because I'm up a pawn. And here, I come in with this move because I don't even know what to tell you. I think because I didn't like that he had two pieces looking at my pawn, and this is the way I saw it defending it. This was a better move, because let's say he does take, I could ignore it. I'm still up a pawn, and he doesn't have, like, this looks like a threat, but my bishop is covering it. He doesn't have any immediate, like, crazy stuff. I thought maybe he has a tactic or something, like, oh, you know, even if he comes here, like, trading is fine for me. Trading is fine because I have passed pawn. I have a freaking passed pawn. I keep discounting how good passed pawns are. But instead, I play this stupid way. And I calculated for quite a while here, too. And I just completely missed that I didn't. Here, it took me 4 minutes to make this blunder. I took 4 minutes to make a blunder. How crazy is that? My best move, just bring the queen back. Bring the queen back. And the blunder is a blunder because the knight gets into the position, attacks my queen. And I saw all of this. I saw the best moves here. I saw a couple of those moves. What I didn't recognize was that I didn't need to bring the bishop back. I was scared of this because I thought, you know what, I don't know what I thought. I thought there's a pin against my king that looks like it could be exploited with the rook coming in and attacking, and I was just calculating stuff that was, I guess, unnecessary. So instead of all that, this is what ends up happening, and the game is still pretty even. And here I spent like a minute on this move, and I thought it wasn't that good of a move, but I was hoping he would take because I thought, oh, that's like really good. I could just do a lot of stuff. My best move here was to bring my queen, disallowing his queen to get into the position. Well, that wouldn't be how he would get into the position, but this queen is trapped, almost trapped, right? Like he would have to do something like this to get out of it. But I'm gonna take the queen. That's the point. And I could create a passed pawn soon, and I didn't see that. So those were the games. That's the curse of the ELO. I hope you guys enjoyed. I also watched some YouTube videos, which were pretty interesting, actually. There's an annoying dog barking outside also. Let me see. Yeah. So it was talking about the King's Indian and the Nimzo Indian and stuff, because I thought that was interesting. I feel like the Indian game, King's Indian defense, happens a lot, and I feel like I handle it pretty well. But I thought, oh, what if I played as the King's Indian defense? I haven't done it yet, but I thought it would be interesting in the future. Yeah. So that's everything I got for you guys today. Say Capo, C-A-P-O in the comments if you watched this far to let me know. And thanks for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.